I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Dominique Henderson. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm doing great, Angel. How are you?
I'm excellent, my friend. Great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm actually about 25 miles south of downtown Dallas in a suburb called DeSoto. So we got cows and chickens and things like that out here.
That's great. That's great. There's the thing that my wife and I look at often. They're from Dallas, Magdalena. They do something on HGTV.
Okay.
It's
I don't watch a ton of TV, but
yeah. Well, they're from Texas, but never mind. We could leave that right there. So tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Well, I'm a financial advisor, and I basically just try to help people realize what I would call their ideal financial outcome.
Yeah. And you do that on the podcast as well, right?
Yeah, I do, I guess, financial literacy or financial education. I like to say the themes of the podcast are financial literacy, economic empowerment, and personal development, because we need all three, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Tell us the name of the podcast so we could go find it.
Yeah, it's called Experiencing Financial Contentment.
Now, the guy on this picture looks really, really young. Is this you?
That is me.
Oh,
That's
this is
me.
wonderful.
Except for the probably the gray hairs in my beard, I would probably be looking much younger.
Yeah. The grays tell the story, but you definitely have an amazing youthful look. I'm guessing you're just over 40 because of how you responded, but you look like a 38-year-old here. The picture is small, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 42 in February. Thank you for that.
Wow. Well done. So this life definitely has you in the best of health, it seems. Who did you learn the skills of what it takes to help with financial contentment?
Well, we had some School of Hard Knocks. I'm also certified financial planner, so I've gone through the education requirements, but I've been in financial services for the last almost 2 decades.
Wow, congratulations. Wow. Why will you continue to repeat these skills?
Well, I like helping people. I like educating people around finances and helping them get to a level that maybe they didn't see before, almost kind of like how a coach does with an athlete. You can have the most talented athlete and even he or she won't know their full potential, but the coach typically can see that in them and they pull things out of them to get them to that level of performance that they may not have even expected. So I enjoy that process very much.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. I got to listen to the podcast. Pretty amazing stuff as well. Like, love the way you drop. Like, the one I listened to is the ultimate 3-step process. Yeah, which is your last one on the time of this recording. Great stuff. Love what you're doing. Sure, go ahead.
The reason why I look that way is probably because of the swimming. So.
Oh, you swim as well. So is that one of the things you've done consistently over the last 3 years?
Yeah. I've listened to your podcast too, so we'll get some of those birds out of the way. I've swam for probably close to 4 years. So
wow.
I try to do it at least 3 times a week. Sometimes.
Wow.
This Thanksgiving week has been a little off, but
yeah, for everyone, right?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel great. I was an athlete. I ran track and field through my probably third year in college, and always played basketball, but that started to get rough on my knees. And so I have a lot of friends. They were like, well, you need to try swimming. And I've always known how to swim. So just start spending about 30 minutes in the pool every other day. And it got to a routine. And so here we are 4 years later.
One of the things I've seen occur when individuals get intentional with their finances is that they then start to focus on their health. Have you seen that as well?
Yeah, there's some strong correlation. I think just because the discipline that it takes to be intentional about anything generally transfers to stuff like health or maybe even eating right, spirituality. A lot of those things have, I think, a lot of crossover, if you will, just because that sense of purpose is very deep, runs pretty deep in most people.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I'll share quickly and say that my financial contentment is what has this podcast going. I don't think if I was in debt the way I used to be, that I would have even jumped into what I do via the podcast. It definitely does set an intangible measurement, if you would, for life, doesn't it? Being consistent with your money.
I would highly agree with that. And I would think that, I like to say that I think everybody's looking for that. They just may not know that quite yet. Does that make sense? I think what I've found, Angel, is that most people have a deep sense of passion and purpose around something, but they generally need maybe just a little bit of coaching on how to get there. And so our money typically lives pretty close to our hearts. And so, once you get that passion, and then direct your money behind it, I think that's the major key to living with financial contentment.
Amazing audience. We are live with Dominique Henderson. Again, he has something on his LinkedIn profile page, which is pretty intriguing. It says financial contentment. The key is to create a mindset or develop a system that decides for you what to do in advance. And of course, there is ... there. Love it. But Dominique, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Oh, a couple of different places, but I would refer them to the blog, DJ Henderson SR as in senior.com. So that's my blog. That's where you can get the podcast. There's some links to my corporate website there too. So
love it.
That's this way.
All right, my friend. Well, let's switch gears for a moment now, Dominique, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Dominique, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me this. And man, I'm a military brat, and we moved around a lot. I was born in Fort Lewis, Washington, and probably some of my earliest memories were just playing with friends. My friends looked like the rainbow just because of being in the military. And so probably some early childhood memories, just running around the neighborhood at maybe, 5 or 6 years old when you could go outside still and your parents let you stay all day.
Oh, where has those times gone?
Tell me about it.
So how old do you think you were in that memory?
Oh, I had to be probably around 4 or 5.
Why do you think that memory is clear? And do you see that memory connecting to who you are this time?
Yeah, I think that memory is the kind of the blueprint for my life, which has been a lot of diversity, a lot of accepting and befriending a lot of different people. Just because, like I said, the first 18 years of my life, we moved around maybe every 3 or 4 years. And so how I've kind of used that is I haven't, really been a stranger when I got into my professional life with meeting new people and, accepting their differences and trying to work together towards a common goal. So I think a lot of that was instilled in me through being what they call an army brat.
Love it. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Yes, I'm ready for it.
I love the fact that you've created the club. And now that you have created the club and are inviting others in, they too can now join, as well as do what's necessary for them to create clubs as well, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, that club surrounds being financially financially literate,
yes.
And achieving their contentment. So it's the contentment club, right? Just like the club that existed back in the days where, you were rolling with everyone in the community. Pretty amazing stuff. No,
it is actually. I mean, you're right on it. I actually have a Facebook group for that. So
there we go. Well, Dominique, before I even go there, if we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Whoa. Okay. Let's see. I, like your last guess, have to think about this in terms of grades. So 12 was like 6th or 7th grade. I was brought up in the church, so it was probably some song by a gospel artist. Maybe like John P. Key or the Clark Sisters, or specific songs I couldn't think of because we had so many on rotation.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, my friend, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly. Are you ready, Dominique?
I'm ready.
Dominique, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Sometimes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, definitely more than 8.
If you, Dominique, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Very interesting. I would say a person that lives on purpose with purpose.
Love it. Dominique, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I would say I would leave them with 2 questions along the lines of financial contentment. And that is, in seeking that, if you answer these 2 questions, you'll be really close to your why, which I believe is the key to it, which is if money weren't an object, what would you be doing? And then the second one is, if you were to take your last breath today, what wouldn't people be able to say about you? What would be missing from your eulogy? You answer these 2 questions, you're going to be really close to your why, which is the key to financial contentment.
Dominique Henderson, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thanks, Angel.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.